brought to you by Promise Resource Network. Um, my name is Sharon Galuski, and what we're going to talk about today, fix the hair, um, are the principles of recovery. You know how much I love recovery. If you know me, you know that I love to talk about recovery and the process of it, um, the principles of it, how I can participate in my own recovery, right? So I wanted to read something to you. This is where the 10 core principles of recovery are found. In 2004, National Consensus Conference on Mental Health Recovery and Mental Health Systems, conveyed by SAMHSA, peers, healthcare professionals, researchers, and others agreed on the 10 core principles undergirding a recovery orientation. All right. The 10 principles of recovery. Now, I wanted to define what principles meant because sometimes I have a misunderstanding, so I wanted to look it up. I love definitions. So, principles, a foundational truth or proposition that serves as the foundation for a system or belief or behavior or the chain of reasoning. The foundation of a system of beliefs. The foundation of recovery is found in those 10 principles. Right? Oh, this is good stuff. I can't wait to get started. So, these 10 principles promote recovery, but also it is like a human rights contract. This is what I deserve. This is what I'm entitled to. Right? So, the first principle of recovery is self-direction. People determine their own path of recovery. We figure out where we want to go. It's the most amazing thing. I used to be a case manager. I was terrible. I was terrible because I thought that everyone's rights. Everybody has the rights, right? Well, my thought was you got the right to do what I tell you to do. That's not self-direction. Self-direction is to determine how I want to get to recovery. Is to determine my path, right? For me. And I get to dictate how I am processing through this. I get to have the say that this is my recovery. And I get to choose how to go along my path. Right? I love self-direction. I love the fact that I have the right to choose how I want to be, to choose my process. Right? Self-direction. It is my way of doing things. It is the direction I want to go in, based on my needs, my wants, my desires, my skills, my strengths. What's stopping me from getting that? I get to choose how I'm doing this. Right? Oh, I love it. I love this stuff. Number 2, a core principle of recovery. Number 2, individualized and person-centered. There are multiple pathways to recovery based on individuals' unique strengths, needs, preferences, experience, and cultural backgrounds. It is individual. It is based on me, what my culture is, what my understandings are, what my beliefs are, what my foundation is made out of, right? So it's individualized. It is based on me and only me. I get to decide how I want to do this, right? And it's specific to me based on my experiences, my preferences, my needs, and my cultural background. I love it. And it's also person centered. I I need a plan of action that is person centered. I need to be able to know that this is about me as a human being, that this is specifically my travels. It's based on what I need and how to get those needs met. Remember, most of what we go through is based on our unmet needs. When I am in a space of individualization and person centeredness, the people that are working with me are are uh, are allowing me to be me, are allowing me, which has not always happened. Those of us that have been in the system for a while, no matter what part of it, no matter which side of the table we're on, because I've been on both sides of the table. I've been the one to give support and I've been the one to get support. And it has meant so much to me when somebody sees me and helps me get what I need, right? So it's individualized, right? Me, based on me. The next one is empowerment. People can choose among options and participate in all decisions that affect them. Empowerment. Dun, dun, dun. Choosing between our options. When I am empowered, I have the ability and the right to make my choices, right? To look at my options, to participate in those decisions, right? I am strong. I am worthy. That's what empowered is. That's what I think of empowered when I am in a space of growth, right? When I'm in a space of taking care of myself and knowing that I am worthy, that I'm strong, that I am able. When I have those things, when I have that knowledge, I am empowered. I am empowered to do what I need to do. It says to participate in all decisions. I can make a decision, but if I don't go through with it, nothing happens. Right? So empowerment is part of the action. I am strengthened enough to go through this physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, whatever it is. So I have the power to participate in this decision, to take action. I can decide to do something. I can want to do it. I can be determined to do it. But until I do it, nothing changes. Until I get into action, nothing changes. Right? And the action is mine. The action is of my choosing. I get to choose between all the options I have for recovery. I get to choose my path. And when I choose my own path, it helps me take back my power. Right? Good stuff. Good stuff. So empowerment is critical. Empowerment is what we get when people have faith in us. Right? They lift us up. They empower us. I love it. I love this stuff. And I love the fact that Promise Resource Network abides by these rights and not privileges, but rights, human rights. The next thing is holistic. Recovery focus on people's entire lives, including mind, body, spirit, and community. Now, when we talk about that, The holistic is the entire part of us, is the entire part of us. And, we talk a lot about the 8 dimensions of wellness at Promise Resource Network. We're able to look based on those things at our entire selves, our ability to take care of ourselves. Right? There are 8 dimensions that I need to look at. I was under the impression mind, body, spirit, right? Mind, body, spirit. And there's more. There's much more of me to look at, right? That holistic approach where I am seen in my entirety. When the people see me with the capabilities of taking care of myself. All right, the 8 dimensions. The first one's physical. How do we take care of ourselves physically? A lot of that has to do with being attached to and being understanding of our bodies, right? So we want to be able to take this physical aspect and run with it. I want to be able to be well physically, right? To do those things that help promote my wellness in a physical aspect. So I want to do things. I want to do things like exercise. I want to do those things. I made the decision to exercise. I just haven't gotten to the action yet, right? Eating healthy is another way we can do it. Eating healthy is critical. I eat a lot of fast food, and that's not good for me. See, you all get to see all the things I do wrong, and hopefully you will learn from that experience. But the physical aspect is something we need to be concerned about. Please hold. The folks. All right. So the next thing in the 8 dimensions of wellness is occupational. My work, my volunteering is critical in my world. My purpose, my vocation, not just my job, not just what they call Band-Aid job, which I've had lots of them, where I'm just doing what I got to do to survive. I've got to get cash. I've got to pay my rent. I've got to pay my utilities. So I do a job that maybe not is my purpose yet, but I'm working towards that purpose, right? That occupational, that ability to work in our passion. That's a beautiful thing. It is a beautiful thing when we are able to be in our purpose, to be employed to be in our purpose, right? I am so incredibly blessed. I work at a place that is Disneyland. I always say it's Disneyland. I have worked all over the place. I've worked in group homes. I've worked in workshops. I've worked as a case manager. I've done a lot of things around human services. And yeah, I know it seems like I couldn't keep a job with all those experiences, but I did for a while. And every job that I was on, I learned. I learned about what works for me and for the people I serve. And I learned what doesn't work for me and the people I serve. That is purpose, right? Purpose. I'm blessed. I work at Promise Resource Network, and it is a privilege. I get to do things that I didn't even know I wanted to do. I didn't even know where my purpose came from, where my passion was, right? I'd worked in the special ed field for 20 years. And in that time, I learned a lot. I'd never had experience with mental health outside of my own issues, right? I'd never truly worked with people with substance use issues, um, as with me in my journey. So when I did these things, it gave me experience. It helped me understand again what works and what doesn't work for me and the people I serve. So when I found what I'm doing now, which is teaching. I used to teach kids, right? I had to shift to working and facilitating classes with adults. It's a little trickier, right? But I get to use bad language and y'all get my jokes. So there are benefits. But when we work in a place, in a field, in a job that feeds our spirit, it's an amazing thing. We need to find that job, and we can find that job. I needed to look at what my strengths were, look at what my barriers were, and begin to create a plan to get what I wanted. And what I wanted was to work at PRN. I begged our director, Shireen, for a long time. Please hire me. Please hire me. I think she hired me just because I was annoying her. So just to get me out of bugging her, she hired me. She believed in me. And that makes a big difference. When we get into that space of working in our passion, it's an amazing thing. When we figure out what our passion is, sometimes it surprises us. Sometimes it's totally something that we never even thought of. And to know where not to go is a big thing. In my vocation, in my travels as an employee, I was able to go up to UNCC and teach a semester. And I had concluded in my plan of action to get where I wanted to go, where my desire was, where I thought I was supposed to be, was to be a college professor. Now, I tell you, I taught that one semester at a college, at a university, and it about killed me. I tell you, it was horrible. I was so out of my element. That is not where I'm supposed to be. Even though I thought that's where I was headed, that experience helped me understand where I'm supposed to be. Right? It's good stuff. When we find that purpose, when we find that passion, and we're able to work in it, or volunteer. Volunteering is a long-term interview, right? If you want to work somewhere, if I want to work somewhere, it's a good idea to volunteer. It's a good idea to become a part of. So when a position opens up in this place you have a passion for, there you are. You've already proven yourself. And volunteering is so good for the spirit. Is so good for the spirit. Right? Next one is environmental. Where we live. Is it safe? Is it comfortable? Does it give me peace? That's what I want. That's what I want. I want to be able to come to my home and relax and sometimes recuperate from the day. So it's important for me to have that space of comfort and ease, of peace, right? Of safety. There's a lot of houses and apartments and condos and townhouses and all those things. They're in neighborhoods everywhere. That doesn't guarantee that those are homes. There's a difference between a house and a home. A home is where my needs are met. My home is where I am comfortable to be myself, right? My environment is what I need it to be, and that is safe. Next one is spiritual, and that's whatever it looks like for you. What does what feeds your soul, right? What feeds your soul? I want to be able to increase the energy in my person, in my mind, in my emotions, and in my spirit. And I can do that. I can do that. It goes back to action. It always goes back to action. What am I doing to promote um, significant support in that area for me? What am I doing to, like I said, increase that energy? When I'm right in my spirit, I can go anywhere. It says in some of the literature I read that if I am spiritually fit, I can go anywhere. Right? If I'm not spiritually fit, if I am not whole and present and holding on to those things that feed my soul, I'm not going to get my needs met. I'm not going to do those things, that action that helps me. I want to increase what feeds my soul. And we get to choose that. That's a beautiful thing. Nobody gets to tell me what he, she, they, them, doesn't matter. Whoever you choose, whatever you choose, that strengthens your soul, that strengthens your spirit. Run with it. Run with it. Next one is intellectual. That means a lot of different things for people. It could be going back to school. It could be learning about recovery. It could be learning a trade. Whatever it is, that intellectual, it could be learning the coping skills I need to shift when I am, when I'm in a situation that's not beneficial to me. So, intellectual. Next one's emotional. My emotional needs, where I come from, this dimension, is critical for me because it's critical that I take care of this part of my life, right? We're talking holistic. We're talking all about me and my emotional health. Wellness has a lot to do with that. I want to be comfortable. I want to be happy, right? And I want to be peaceful. Next one is financial. That's a good one. When I'm financially fit, then there's less stress, right? When I know I can pay my bills, or at least I'm pretty sure, it helps me to feel grown up. So financial is a critical part. We have one of the questions on one of our forums, and it says, it just tickles me. Do you have enough money? Well, hell no. A little extra money would help. But being able to meet my needs within my financial situation is so helpful to stress reduction. Is such an important part of that circle. I hadn't thought about financial as part of my wellness, but it is part of my wellness. Taking care of those financial amends, being able to go back, this is for me, to go back and pay what I owed, whether that was a personal loan or a bad check. The lovely person that helped me with my financial situation, with my credit. When I started in recovery, she asked me, have you ever bounced a check at a grocery store? And I said, well, yeah. And she said, well, where? And I said, I don't know. How many grocery stores are in Charlotte? I bounced a lot of checks, and I had to make up for that. I did a lot of things financially that weren't right, and I had to make that right. I had to pay back. I had to figure out how to make that amends, right? Amends is not saying I'm sorry. I'm sorry I owe this money and not doing anything about it. And amends is choosing to do the next right thing to make it right. Right. So to pay back those that helped us. And I'll tell you, it's amazing when we make an amends. When I began to put together all the people and groups and institutions that I owed money to, and I began to knock that down, when my credit score went up, it made me feel so good. I never had that. With the help of my friend, my dear friend, she, from the start of my recovery, where she started helping me with my credit and my financial situation, within 2 years, I was able to buy a house in my name. Now that's the shit. That's what financial amends makes. That's what financial dimension helps us stay whole, helps us get our needs met. Remember, it always goes back to needs. Last one is social. I love social. My supporters. I absolutely need to be able to have my tribe about me. And this is an important dimension. Oh, they're all important. I keep saying this is important, but social really is important. The exchange of energy between two people, right? When I get with somebody, especially somebody that is thinking positive, is living in a positive frame of mind, I exchange energy with them. I like to stand beside them and just feel good. You'd probably know those kind of people. Somebody who is just positive, supportive, ready to help, right? And the social part of the holistic approach helps me stay strong, helps me be empowered, helps me be around people that promote my recovery. That's a beautiful thing. When we get our tribe, when we find our people. When I taught at that college, those were not my people, right? Those were not the folks that I understood and understood me. We find our way. We find our way, and that's what's cool about recovery. All right, the next dimension is non-linear. Recovery isn't a step-by-step process, but one based on continual growth, occasional setbacks, and learning from experience. So it's not A, B, C. You do A, B happens, and you get C. It's not always like that. Okay? It's not always a straight line. I do this, I do this, I do this, and I get it. I believe my higher power's plan for me was to go from point A to point B, to be happy, to be joyful, to be whole, to be peaceful. Straight line, right? That was my higher power's plan. Unfortunately, I did this. Right? I got off track. But that's all right. It led me to where I needed to go. My understanding is there is no right way to do recovery. There's my way, based on what I need, based on my experience. And it said we learn from our experience. I get to change the road I'm on based on what's going on, based on what I've found in my life. When I can learn from my experience, it makes my life so much easier. I generally take 3 hits with a 2x4 before I figure it out. But I figure it out, and that's a good thing. And that's a help with my friends too. Strength-based recovery builds on people's strengths rather than our weaknesses. We are socialized to look for weakness, to look for things that are unbeneficial, right? To look for things that are wrong. I hate all that. But when we look at our strengths, we're able to use that. Use what we already have to promote our recovery. Right? Use what I've already got. When I worked in a group home, there was a gentleman, he was about 65 years old, and he had the same goal for about 8 years. And that goal was he would learn to tie his shoes. 65 years old, had this goal for 8 years. Well, obviously wasn't getting it, right? This is based on something that he has difficulty doing. I came in and I said, get him some Velcro shoes and let's start with what he's good at and build on it. Start with what I'm interested in and build on it. What I've learned from my experience, right? So it's based on what I do well, based on what is well in me, based on what I can do. And I love strength-based because it is not a whipping type of situation. You did that wrong, do it again. No. Hey, I like how you did that. Let's go a little further, right? Strength-based. Peer support is the next one. Big. We are peer support specialists, certified. And that means most of the people that work at Promise Resource Network are peer support specialists. We've been trained. We've been certified through the state. And we're here to help. We're here to help. Peer support specialists are people that have lived experience, people that have been in the trenches, people that, for me, had fallen in that hole and did my best to claw our way out with support, right? Makes a big difference when you fall in a hole, when we have those setbacks, when we have to learn from our experience. If I can do that, when I fall in a hole, I don't have to claw my way out. I can lift my hand and there'll be somebody there, right? That's what a peer support specialist does. There's a story that talks about falling in the hole. Every time I fell in the hole, and I didn't know why. I was in the hole one day and just yelling, please help me. And a peer support specialist came down and he reached down. And actually, he jumped in the hole. The guy freaked out and said, what are you doing? Now we're both in the hole. And the peer support specialist said, I know the way out. We've been places. I may not have the same experience as you, but I understand anger and fear. I understand deep sadness and disappointment. We have those experiences that change us, that bring us to a point where we're ready for recovery. And peer support has a big part of that. Peer support has a big part of it. It's like our social. There's a difference between my friend telling me something and the doctor telling me something. It's just, peer support is there to support us with whatever we need, with whatever resources we need, with whatever hearing. Peer support specialists, I think the greatest thing we do is we're able to see and hear people that are in distress because we've been there. Peer support is the deal. If you're interested in helping people, that's the shit right there, because we get to use our story. The next one is respect. A core principle is respect, acceptance and appreciation by society, community, systems of care, and peers themselves are crucial to recovery. Acceptance and appreciation from the world. Now, I tell you, we're not always going to get respect, but it is our right to have it, to be respected in our whatever dimension that is, occupational, environment, financial, to be respected, to have self-respect. It took me a long time to get some self-respect, to be able to stand in the mirror at night and say, I didn't hurt anyone and I didn't hurt me today. It's powerful stuff. To get respect from others, to get respect from ourselves, to know that I'm worthy of good things, and to have other people understand that as well. When we respect other people, we allow them to be themselves. It's powerful stuff. Responsibility is number 9. People are responsible for our own self-care and journeys of recovery. Responsibility. Responsibility goes 2 ways. Me and you. When I get involved with an agency to provide services to me, to help me, to help me, I go into a contract with them. We sign a million things. When I am in that situation, not only am I taking the responsibility for the rules and expectations of what that service is, of what the principles of that service provider is, but I am saying, y'all got a part too. Y'all are part of this contract. The service provider is there to provide service. Goes back to respect. I do my part, you do your part. Responsibility. Responsibility is hard though. It's hard because you got to do stuff, right? You got to be in action. I got to do things that are beneficial to me, right? The last one is hope. Love hope. Hope is the fuel of recovery. Recovery's central motivating message is a better future, that people can and do overcome obstacles. Hope is what brought me into recovery. I was hopeless, helpless, dead inside. My soul had rotted. That's how I felt. And I was at a place where I didn't know what to do. I didn't know where to turn. I didn't know there was a solution out there. But I had a friend that had gotten sober about 6 months earlier. And she didn't say anything about her 12-step program. She didn't say anything about recovery. But what I saw when I was ready to see was hope for a different future. Right? Hope for a different future. She never said anything to me about recovery, but I saw it in her. I saw it in a way you could not deny. She was happy. She was peaceful. She was empowered. That's what hope does. That's what hope does. And I was given that hope by somebody else. Somebody held my hope when I was going through it. And when I was ready for it, it presented itself. It started me on my journey. It's the thing from my experience that pulls me out of the darkness into the light. Hope is powerful, right? Hope, like I said, is the fuel to recovery. It's where we start. It's where we stay. There are times when my hope falters. But the cool thing about that is that I get to be around people that promote my hope, that promote hope, that show me how to do things, that show me how to have a different future, right? That thing. And that hope feeds my spirit. Hope feeds my spirit. So the 10 principles of recovery are self-direction, individualized and person-centered, empowerment, holistic, nonlinear, strength-based, peer supported, respect, responsibility, and hope. One thing that the company that I work for, Promise Resource Network, we abide by these principles. We do our best to, anyway, to respect people, to, I don't want to say allow people because that's not my part, to encourage people to find their path to recovery. I love it. I love this foundation that these principles provide. The 8 dimensions that I need to take care of. All these things, all these 10 principles allow me to stay in hope. They guide me to where I want to go. They help me help others. Right? The principles of recovery are critical. I had to base my recovery, that is my foundation. These concepts of human rights help me every day to know where I'm going, to help me every day to be respected and take responsibility for myself. Every day that I choose to. Right? Recovery is a choice based on these principles. We can't have all of this. We deserve all of this. Right? We're worthy. We're worthy. So find those people that demonstrate these principles, that give you respect, that empower you, that help you find your future. Find those people. Let me tell you one place we can go for people, peer support specialists that will listen. We have a warm line at Promise Resource Network. It is free and confidential, and it is 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Holidays included. We're here, and we're ready to listen. We're ready to provide resources. We're ready to see you and hear you. If you need to vent, that's cool. If you want to share your day, that's great. When you call, it is another opportunity for me when I'm in that situation to increase my recovery. So that's the warm line. Call it if you need to. Call it if you want to. Right? 833-390-7728. Got one more number. Front desk, if you need to get a hold of a specific peer support specialist or a staff at Promise Resource Network, call our front desk. Kim will take care of you. Kim will take care of you, I promise. She will get the information to the people that need to be getting it. So our front desk is open Monday through Friday, 8 to 4:30. Number is 704-390-7709. We're here. We're trying our best to abide by these principles of recovery. It makes my life easier. It's built a foundation for me. I will see you next Tuesday at 10 o'clock. I appreciate you being. Oh, let me check chat. Goodness gracious. I haven't even checked that. All right. Hey, Sharon. Aaron's here. Sandra, what's up? Jay, Natasha, John. Oh, everybody's saying good morning. Oh, bless you, John. Every time I get a chance to hear your message, it inspires me and motivates me. I'm a peer support specialist, and I just received my certification. And you are truly a blessing and give me a jump start in what is expected during my process and journey. Nice. Hey, Patricia. Thank you. That's what I do in my vocation. My goal in these classes, in my walk, in my job, is to provide hope. Right? I love that. My job, I work at Disney. I work at Disneyland. All right. Y'all have a good week. I will see you Tuesday at 10. To my friends that have chatted with me, thank you so much. I love you all and I appreciate you. All right.